Coach Nurse, Yenny Rubenstein, Hoops Israel. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Beautiful win. Before the game, you asked me to ask you this question after the game. So, do you think the 76ers are as close as this to a juggernaut team right now in the league, and how did you manage to exploit their weaknesses?
Well, we played a lot harder tonight, right, than we did in the previous game. It was very similar to game two. I thought a little bit more of a grind out affair. Neither team was shooting the ball that well, especially in the first half. And we played hard and tried to make it as tough as we could on them, and made some plays there at the end.
Michael Grange from Sportsnet. Kawhi was obviously Kawhi, but you needed more from somewhere else, and some of the other starters stepped up. Kyle looked pretty aggressive, and even got some stuff out of Serge and Marc Gasol playing together. Just maybe speak about some of the.
Yeah, I think it was pretty obvious we needed some punch around the roster a little bit. Looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4 other guys in double figures and another guy with 9, so that's pretty good. I just thought it was a different mentality tonight than it was the other night, right? Guys were looking to shoot, taking the shots, first shot that was there. When they're putting 2 or 3 on the ball, you got to get off it, and if you're open, you got to let her fly, because there's not anybody out there that we don't want shooting the ball.
Nick, there's Doug Smith, the Toronto Star. The decision to limit the second half to basically six players, is that just got to ride who was hot, or is it you needed to change up the way you played?
Well, we were using the 6 kind of with everybody, right? We had some funky lineups out there at times tonight. I don't know. I just liked the way those guys were playing, right? I didn't want any of them to come off the floor, and the way Serge was impacting, I wanted him on, and that's just the way I could figure out how to keep those same guys going. I think it was a size advantage for us, believe it or not, at some portions of the game, and it just felt good.
Nick, Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun.
Where are you, Steve? Hi, Steve.
To win that game without Pascal being in Pascal-type shape and to get very little offense from him, how pleased are you with your group that you were able to do that under these circumstances?
Yeah, I think Steve, this was, it was a gutty performance, right? And that kind of was needed regardless of who was there or not, but it even becomes a little more gutty when you're down, you're not down a guy, but he obviously wasn't himself, right? And kind of the way our team and the rhythm of our team had been flowing had been with a lot of his help and stuff. So we weren't in great rhythm, right? But we were good enough tonight, and we were fighting and figuring some things out on the fly. We were running some stuff tonight we've never run before with Mark and Serge, and trying to figure out how to best use some of that stuff. And we did just enough. We made a couple good decisions on a few plays. We got bailed out on a few times when we didn't, and then we had some bad possessions too, right? But I think the main thing is we kept not really stringing up stops, but we weren't letting them string up scores too often tonight.
John, second row to your left. Coach, John Schumann, NBA.com. What went into the decision to play Serge and Mark together so much? Was that completely separate from Pascal's, questionable status? And what do you think the effect was ultimately? Was it more on the defensive end of the floor of playing the two bigs together?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I felt tonight was the rebounding. Right, it just felt like we were getting pushed around a little bit in the last 2 games around the glass, and a lot of those times that would happen with our really small lineup, our Fred, Kyle, Norm, Pascal lineup, and they were just throwing it up there and revving up their engines and flying into the rim. And tonight we were just had more athleticism and size, and just looked that way, and then it looked kind of looked like the rebounds were affected by that. I think that was the biggest thing. And the first part of your question, yeah, we were looking at some options of how to combat some of the problems we were having, and that obviously was entertained that Serge and Mark would play together.
I'm going to go to Scott. Scott, on your right.
Hi, Scott.
Hey, Scott Stinson with Post Media. That last possession that Kawhi hit the big three on. I just wondered if you could sort of walk us through what you're thinking as he's trying to find a shot and then ultimately takes one that was a tough look.
Yeah, I mean, they did a good job of blowing up the play. They were kind of corralling him, I guess, with two guys, and we couldn't really get spacing to get off it and get to it wasn't like a hard blitz, and there was spacing there, and he got back on it. And I mean, listen, I thought it was going to be tough. I saw the shot clock winding down. He didn't get a great shot for the shots he took tonight. That was one of the tougher ones, right? And he just made a big shot.
Last couple questions. What did you say?
Nick, Mike Sealski from the Philadelphia Inquirer. To kind of follow up on that, how much, given the way Kawhi has played in this series, how much wiggle room do you feel like you guys have if he doesn't play as well as he's played in these 4 games?
Well, I think that, again, I'm hoping that we can get back to being a little bit more ourselves, right? I just think, again, where our rhythm hasn't been great, and you give them credit, man. This is a good team, right? They're physical, they're big, they're up and guarding, they're game planning, they're watching the films and all that stuff too. We're not in great rhythm, and I think we need to find a little more rhythm if something like that were to happen. And as much as at least we stepped in and took shots tonight, I think I watched a whole bunch of ones that I'm going to keep taking, and we got to make more of them. I mean, there's a lot of naked threes out there that we didn't hit, and one of these days we just might.
Last question here.
Coach Brian Koprowski from Hoopsite. You have 2 bigs who can both stretch the floor with Serge and Mark. How much does that factor the decision to play them again together moving forward?
Well, I think we probably look at it again just because it helped us on the rebounding. It does help that they can both make them. It was nice to see Mark take them and make a couple and kind of keep taking them. Serge, hopefully when we get back on our home floor, will get dialed in a little bit. He had a couple threes that he took. He can make those too, and it'd be nice if he could throw 1 or 2 in a game too, because again, the penetration by whoever is going to draw a lot of help, as it should, and those guys are kind of safety valves out behind the arc, and if they're all alone out there, we want them to step in and take them, either one of them. Yeah.